There's a moment in everyone's life when someone in power demands the impossible. A boss, a teacher, a parent, a system, someone who looks down at you and says, "Sure, you can have what you want, if you can do this." This is the story of how a tiny spider faced that exact situation and beat it with nothing but creativity, confidence, and a little mischief. This is the West African tale of Anansi, the spider who outsmarted the sky god. Long ago, all the world's stories belonged to Nyame, the sky god. If you wanted a story, any story, you had to get it from him, and Anansi, who loved stories more than anything, decided he wanted to bring them down to earth for everyone to enjoy. So he climbed up to Nyame's sky palace and asked to buy them. Nyame laughed at him, a tiny spider daring to negotiate with a god. But instead of refusing outright, Nyame set a challenge designed to be impossible. He told Anansi he could have the stories only if he captured 3 terrifying creatures: the python who could swallow a goat, the leopard with teeth like knives, and the hornets whose stings burned like fire. Most people would have given up right there, but Anansi didn't complain, he didn't panic, he simply said, "All right," and he went to work. First, he went after the python. Instead of fighting it, which would have been ridiculous, Anansi used psychology. He carried a long stick to the python's home and pretended he'd heard people arguing about whether the python was longer than the stick. The python, offended and eager to prove himself, stretched out straight beside it, and the moment he did, Anansi tied him down. No force, no violence, just cleverness. Next came the leopard. He found him trapped in a pit. The leopard begged for help, and Anansi agreed, but only if he could tie the leopard's paws for safety. The leopard agreed, and Anansi tied him up completely. Another impossible task solved through strategy, not strength. Finally, the hornets. Anansi waited for a rainstorm, then ran to the hornets pretending to be panicked. He told them their home was flooding and offered them shelter inside a gourd. Grateful, they flew right in. Anansi sealed the opening, and the 3rd task was complete. With all 3 creatures captured, Anansi returned to the sky god. Nyame was stunned. A tiny spider had accomplished what no warrior, no hunter, no king had ever managed. And because a deal was a deal, Nyame handed over the stories that would spread across the world, carried from generation to generation. And that's the heart of this tale. When someone gives you an impossible task, you don't need to be the strongest, the biggest, or the loudest. You just need to be the most creative. Anansi didn't overpower anything. He outthought everything. He understood the nature of each challenge and used that understanding to win. It's a reminder that problems aren't always solved by force. Sometimes the smartest path is the one nobody else thinks to take. And that's why, even today, Anansi remains the symbol of cleverness, resilience, and the power of thinking differently. So the next time life hands you a sky god with impossible demands, be the spider.